Hey there and welcome back. You're here for it. The deep dive on the way of the superior man.
By David Deida.
That's right. And it's clear you're looking to really understand this book.
Yeah.
Even 20 years after it first hit the shelves. This 20th anniversary edition, people are still talking about it, so we're going to unpack all of it. What Deida really means by superior man. Is this some outdated macho fantasy?
Right.
Or something much deeper?
Yeah.
And most importantly, how can you apply these concepts in your life, in your relationships, today, in 2024?
What's fascinating is that Deida kind of turns the whole idea of a superior man on its head. He's not talking about being the loudest, strongest guy in the room.
Right. It's not that alpha male
No.
bravado kind of thing.
It's something much more internal, you know?
And he really drives that point home. With this one line, a man's worth can be found in his depth of being. A shallow man, easily perturbed and swayed, is worth less to his woman and his world than a man whose presence is deeply sourced. It's profound. So we're talking about depth over superficiality. But what does that actually look like? How do we get there?
Well, Deida suggests one of the key ways we cultivate that depth is by living at our edge.
Okay, living at your edge. What does that even mean?
So think of it like this. Your edge is that boundary between what you know, what feels safe and comfortable, and the unknown territory, where real growth happens. It's the place where our fears and limiting beliefs tend to hold us back.
So give me a concrete example.
Okay, imagine you have a project you've been putting off because it scares you a little.
Yeah.
Maybe it's writing a book, asking for a promotion, or having a difficult conversation. That feeling of hesitation, that reluctance to step outside your comfort zone, that's your edge.
So a superior man, in Deida's world, is someone who isn't afraid to push past those limits.
Exactly. He's not being reckless, but he's definitely not playing it safe either. He's constantly challenging himself to become more self-aware, more present, more aligned with his purpose.
So how do we find that edge in our own lives?
You know, it can seem pretty abstract.
It does.
But it's about identifying those areas where you feel a mix of excitement and fear. It could be in your career, your relationships, your creative pursuits, or even your personal development. Maybe you're comfortable in your current job, but you feel a pull towards something more challenging.
Okay.
Maybe you're holding back from expressing your true feelings in a relationship.
Right.
Maybe you have a creative passion you've been ignoring. Those are all signs that you're bumping up against your edge.
I see. Yeah.
And the first step is simply acknowledging that it's there.
It's about paying attention
Yeah.
to those little nudges, those whispers that tell us there's something more out there. Now, here's where Deida gets interesting and maybe a little controversial. He says a man's purpose must come before his relationship.
That's right. And I think it's important to clarify what he means by that.
Yep.
He's not advocating for neglecting your loved ones or abandoning your responsibilities. He's saying that a man needs to be grounded in his own core drive, his mission in life, to be truly fulfilled. And that ultimately allows him to show up more fully in his relationships.
No, it's like you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. Deida uses this powerful analogy to illustrate this. He asks us to imagine being forced to choose between our purpose and our relationship.
Wow.
Now, realistically, most of us will never actually face that choice.
Right.
But just considering it can be a powerful exercise.
It forces us to think about what really matters.
Precisely. It challenges us to ask ourselves, is my purpose something I'd be willing to fight for, even if it meant making difficult decisions?
Okay.
And that level of clarity and commitment to our own path ultimately makes us more capable of giving in a relationship.
It's not about choosing one or the other, but finding that balance where our purpose fuels our love and connection.
That's a great way to put it. And that leads us to another key concept in the book, masculine and feminine essences.
Now, this is where Deida gets really interesting. He argues that these essences exist in all of us, regardless of our gender.
That's right. He sees them as energetic polarities that naturally attract and complement each other.
So it's not about traditional gender roles or stereotypes.
Exactly. It's about recognizing these energies within ourselves and our partners to create more dynamic and fulfilling relationships.
She even gives really specific examples about how these essences show up.
He does.
In our everyday lives, right?
Absolutely. For example, Deida points out that men, typically embodying the masculine essence, are often drawn to activities that involve competition, strategy, pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
Think sports, action movies, building things, even certain types of humor. On the other hand, the feminine essence often finds more resonance in activities like dancing, flowing movements, creative expression, and nurturing.
So it's about those fundamental energies that drive us, how we move through the world, and what we find fulfilling.
Exactly. And understanding these essences is key to creating that spark. In our relationships,
So how do these energies actually play out in a relationship?
Deida believes that for a truly passionate and fulfilling relationship to thrive, there needs to be a dynamic interplay between these masculine and feminine energies. Imagine two magnets. If they have the same charge, they repel each other.
Okay.
But if they have opposite charges, they attract.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. So it's not about one essence being better than the other, but about that dynamic tension between them.
Exactly.
That creates attraction and excitement.
That's what Deida means by polarity in relationships.
So if both partners are too much in their masculine or both too much in their feminine, the relationship might lack that spark.
That's what Deida suggests. And this isn't a value judgment. Some people genuinely thrive in relationships with less pronounced polarity.
Right.
But for those seeking a deeper level
Right.
of passion and connection, understanding and honoring these essences can be transformative.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, Deida also gives some really insightful and sometimes unexpected advice for men on how to navigate conflicts with their partners,
Yeah.
which I'd love to dive into next. So we're talking about navigating conflict in relationships. And this is where Deida really dives into the nuances of how men and women communicate. He even says that a woman's complaints are often content-free.
Yeah, I know, right?
What does that even mean? It sounds a little dismissive.
Yeah, it's not about dismissing her feelings at all. It's about understanding that sometimes. When a woman is expressing frustration or disappointment, it's not actually about this specific thing she's complaining about.
Okay.
It's about something deeper.
I'm intrigued. Give me an example.
Think about Deida's classic story about the guy who comes home after making $1 million, but he forgot to pick up the milk.
Oh.
He's ecstatic about his success, but his partner is fixated on the milk.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That's such a great story because it highlights how differently we can perceive the same situation.
Okay.
On the surface, it seems like she's overreacting about the milk.
Right.
But what she's really expressing is a deeper need. She wants to feel seen and prioritized. Even when he's out there achieving great things, the milk becomes a symbol of a disconnect in the relationship. It's not about the milk at all. It's about feeling like a priority, feeling connected, and a superior man, according to Deida, can see past the surface level of the complaint and understand that deeper need.
That takes a lot of self-awareness and empathy.
To be able to step back from your own perspective and really try to understand what your partner is trying to communicate.
Absolutely. And it's not about always being right or giving in to every demand. It's about recognizing that men and women often express their needs and desires differently. A superior man, in Deida's view, can respond in a way that creates understanding and reinforces the bond between them.
Okay, so we've talked about purpose, polarity, and conflict. Now we have to address the elephant in the room.
Oh, here we go.
Deida's views on sexuality. He definitely pushes some boundaries.
He does.
In this area.
And I think it's important to approach this topic with an open mind. Deida sees sexual energy as a powerful force that can be harnessed for personal and spiritual growth, not just physical pleasure.
Yeah, I remember reading about practices like ejaculating up the spine.
Right.
Thinking, whoa, this is getting pretty intense.
It definitely challenges conventional thinking. And while we won't get into all the specifics here, the underlying concept is about mastering your sexual energy. It's about cultivating greater presence, awareness, and connection within yourself and with your partner.
So instead of just seeking that physical release, you're suggesting that we can actually redirect that energy to fuel other areas.
That's the idea
of our lives. Deida believes that a superior man can learn to channel that powerful sexual energy inward and upward, using it to enhance his creativity, his focus, and even his spiritual connection. It's about transforming a primal urge into a force for personal evolution. Okay, I can see how that could be incredibly powerful if you could actually learn to do it. But how do we even begin to access that level of control and awareness?
Well, Deida offers a number of practices and techniques in the book, but one of the key foundations is something we've already touched on, living at your edge. It's about pushing past your comfort zones, facing your fears, and constantly challenging yourself to grow. That same principle applies to your sexual energy as well.
It's about bringing that same level of awareness
Yeah.
and
I've seen
intention
that.
to your sexuality, as you do to
Yes.
other areas
Yeah.
of your life. It's not about denying
Mhm.
or repressing your sexuality,
Right.
but about understanding its power
Yeah.
and using it consciously. Now, what I really appreciate about Deida's work is that he doesn't just leave us with these philosophical ideas. He actually provides some really practical guidance
Absolutely.
on how to apply them.
And he emphasizes that this is an ongoing practice, not a destination. He offers a variety of exercises and techniques to help men integrate these principles into their daily lives.
So it's not about becoming some sort of superhuman overnight. It's about making small, consistent changes.
That's right.
Over time.
He talks a lot about the importance of cultivating discipline and developing a practice. And one of the key areas he focuses on is the power of solitude.
Okay.
He encourages men to carve out time for themselves, away from the demands and distractions of the world, to reconnect with their inner selves and their purpose.
That makes a lot of sense. In today's world, it's so easy to get caught up in the constant noise and busyness that we lose touch with what truly matters.
Exactly. Deida believes that solitude is essential for men to recharge, reflect, and reconnect with their core values and desires.
So it's about having that time and space to really ask ourselves, who am I, what do I want, and where am I going?
Precisely. And it doesn't have to be a grand retreat to a mountaintop. It could be as simple as taking 15 minutes each morning to meditate, journal, or simply sit in silence and observe your thoughts and feelings. The key is to make it a regular practice, something you integrate into your daily routine.
That's great advice. Now, in addition to solitude, Dia also talks about the importance of spending time with other men
That's right.
who are on a similar path, growth.
He emphasizes the power of brotherhood and the support and accountability that comes from connecting with other men who are committed to living consciously and authentically.
I could see how that could be incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
To have a group of guys who you can be real with, who challenge you to grow, and who support you.
On your journey.
Exactly. Deida believes that these kinds of connections are essential for men to break free from limiting beliefs and societal expectations and to step into their full potential.
So it's not about some macho competitive dynamic, but about creating a space for genuine connection.
And growth.
Precisely. It could be as simple as meeting up with a friend for coffee and talking about your challenges and aspirations, or joining a men's group or workshop. That focuses on personal development. The key is to find men who inspire you, who you can learn from, and who will hold you accountable to your highest self.
I love that. And finally, Deida talks about cultivating energy and presence through specific practices like meditation, yoga, or martial arts. What's the thinking behind that?
Deida believes that these practices help men develop a deeper connection to their bodies, their emotions, and their inner strength. We cultivate discipline, focus, and a sense of grounded presence.
So it's not just about physical fitness. It's about cultivating a sense of inner awareness and strength.
Exactly. These practices can help you tap into that wellspring of energy within yourself. The same energy that Deida believes can fuel your purpose, your relationships, and your overall sense of well-being.
So we've covered a lot of ground. From living at your edge to understanding those masculine and feminine essences, navigating conflict, and even harnessing that sexual energy. What's the key takeaway you hope listeners will walk away with from this deep dive into the way of the superior man?
I think the most important message is that it's a call to action. Deida isn't just offering philosophical concepts. He's providing a roadmap for men to step into their full potential. It's about owning your purpose, your desires, and bringing that deep masculine energy into everything you do, your work, your relationships, your connection to the world.
It's about becoming the best version of yourself, not for anyone else, but for yourself.
Exactly. And recognizing that this journey is an ongoing process, not a destination.
Right.
It's about continuous growth, self-discovery, and pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone.
Embracing those challenges and the rewards that come with walking that path.
And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this incredibly powerful passage from Deida. He writes, "Moment by moment, practice loving through your woman in the world, allowing the force of your surrender to transform every moment into an orgasm of divine dissolution. Embrace every moment of experience as a lover, and trust whatever direction love moves you. Die in the giving of your gift, so you don't even notice you have stopped holding on to yourself. Fear is your final excuse. Don't fight it. Love through it."
Wow, that's beautiful. and intense.
It is, and it speaks to the transformative power of embracing this path. It challenges us to live with passion, purpose, and an open heart, even in the face of fear.
So how might applying even one of these concepts shift the dynamics in your life? What are the potential benefits and challenges of embracing this way in today's world?
Those are some powerful questions to ponder.
They are. And on that note, we'll leave you to continue your own exploration. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the way of the superior man. We hope it sparks some insights and inspiration for your own journey.
Did you get any of that?